What's up and welcome to Champions of Lore, a show about all the kick-ass stories behind some of Idle Champions' coolest campaigns and characters. Every Wednesday at 11 a.m. I almost said Monday. It has been a while since we were on Monday.
It's been a minute. It's been a minute, but you didn't though.
I didn't.
Corrected.
It didn't.
You pulled it off the wall.
Yeah. So yeah, every Wednesday at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time here on twitch.tv/CNE Games or later on your favorite podcast service, B. Dave Walters and Erin M. Evans talk about all the Idle Champions lore that's fun to know about. If you're this live in the chat, you leave a question that I, Treavor Bettis, will ask them later in the show. But until then, Erin, B. Dave, take it away.
Hi, I'm Erin M. Evans. I'm the author of the Brimstone Angels Saga, 6-book series set in the Forgotten Realms, featuring 3 of your favorite Idle champions, Frida Havilar and Mehen. And I am a content designer for Idle Champions and a place at Celia on Dungeon Scrawlers.
We could have just gone super OG, and you could have been like all the lore that you need to know about. And I would have been like, yeah, I mean, we just like just S1E3, run it all back. Yeah. Hi, B. Dave Walters. I do that. Yeah, that's everywhere around the interwebs. People will let me talk about stuff. I write, I perform. Mainly, I just do whatever it takes to let me be around Erin as much as humanly possible.
Who's Evan?
That's true. Erin of the 1,000 Evans.
Yes, there we go.
Yeah, there's a number of them. Yes.
I will say, speaking of the acting part, you want to see B. Dave do some acting, check out Invitation to Party. I was catching up on last night. This man acts in that. He does not just DM, he acts.
I do try to hearken forsooth on occasion. Yeah,
he may or may not have used a mic as a knife.
It's on an old woman, no less. Yeah. So, yeah, we're part 1 of the finale is this Friday, 3 o'clock, 3 p.m. on G4, Twitch, and YouTube, and then Mondays at 3 p.m. on television worldwide, wherever fine television cable content can be located.
Wherever fine cable boxes are hooked up to.
Artisanal cable boxes that have to be like wood grain with inlay. Yes.
A hipster comes to your house, complains about your decor, and then sets it up.
That's true. That is how you have to access our show. Yep,
it's true. It's true. But yeah, we're here today to talk about some fancy dragons, artisanal dragons.
I love it.
They're
fancy dragons.
Fine artisanal dragons. And it's celebrate because today Disco, the baby Moonstone Dragon familiar, is being released in game. It was made in with help from Brian Gray, aka Urban Bohemian, and the purchasing it in the game is going to help donate money to the Canadian Cancer Society, and that goes all the way through February 22nd, I believe. And so yeah, we got a gem dragon, so we thought that it would be a fun time to talk about Gemstone dragons, but also metallic dragons.
Let me start with the Moonstone Dragon. I say as I drop my vitamin. I had a Moonstone Dragon in the Black Dice Society, and one of the they're dragons that are native to the Feywild, and they perceive time non-linearly. So I had a lot of fun with that, having this like Dr. Manhattan dragon that is like talking to them about things that haven't happened yet. You know, like they'd ask him questions, and he's like, "I've told you this so many times." You know? They're like, "We've never met you before." And he's like, "What are you talking about? Like, we went flying on the over Faerun, don't you? Oh, you don't remember? Hasn't happened, right?" And then every once in a while, would just stop and reintroduce himself to them, and they're just like, "What are you talking about?" Yeah, I had a lot of fun with that.
Okay, so I didn't know that was a Moonstone Dragon thing. I thought that was just that specific dragon's deal.
No, okay, so hear me out. Hear me out.
Hearing you out.
Fizbane's Treasury of Dragons.
Oh, you mean just this little thing right here?
The special edition of this baby.
Look at that.
I actually had access to the PDF before it came out, and that was a thing that I'm like, let me go double check with the Moonstone Dragon that didn't change. I didn't make that up though, so please talk amongst yourselves. I make sure that is in fact a thing.
Crafting Muse in the chat says that you even hinted about Nika.
You know. There you go.
I now got to go back and listen to that episode. That's pretty cool. It's like you thought about things.
Oh, hello, Crafting Muse. Yes, there was a twist that was 30 episodes in the making, and yes, the dragon with a non-linear perception of time very much hinted at what was about to happen, and they missed it again. Yes. But please talk amongst yourselves.
Yes. So yeah, Gem Dragons are definitely newer to me. But you know, I came in during, you know, the middle of 4th edition. And I think by that time we'd had enough monster manuals that there was the Volcano Dragons, the Earthquake Dragons, and all the other Dragon Dragons.
Catastrophe Dragons.
They were fun.
They were.
Until I ran one and then realized, oh god, I'm about to murder these people.
All those, they go all the way back to 2nd edition. All the different kinds, yeah.
Yeah, that was one thing I wasn't sure about, was when the other types of dragons started to come in, because when you think, when a lot of people think back to what the older editions look like, they think of like Tiamat and the Red Dragons and stuff like that. You don't really hear about Metallic, let alone Gemstone, in older editions.
So the I will say, looking, just because it is an easy, quick way to check, looking at the Amethyst Dragon, there are 1st edition stats for it.
Really?
So it's definitely been around.
Mm-hmm.
I think that, I mean, they're rarer, right?
Yeah.
They're meant to be more. Sorry, I'm scanning for particularly early inclusions. The Gem Dragons are. They're more solitary. They're. I think they're. I'm checking. I'm like, I'm gonna say things about planes, and then people are gonna go, "That's not correct."
I was about to say, normally we cover each other when we're looking.
I know, we're just like overlapping here.
No, I will figure out where it is in this book.
So there,
but I'm fairly certain that was something that was a characteristic of the Moonstone Dragon, and not just something I made up for Magada, because they're creatures of dreams, and they can come in and out of dreams too.
What?
Yeah, the Gem Dragons are planar. They're generally connected to the inner planes. So they're not usually the dragon that's in the cave that you got to go slay. You have Chromatic Dragons for that. They're not usually the dragon that's like, you know, wise and giving you quests and things. You use Metallic Dragons for that.
Yeah.
They're a little bit oddballs, but they're interesting.
And they're very flamboyant, which of course works for me. Honestly, they fill me with a lot of internal conflict, because they're the fanciest and most flamboyant, but not the most powerful. So then I'm like, oh. Yeah.
So, so Chromatic Dragons, I think it's safe to say, is the most common form of dragon, right? So, would you say that it kind of goes like chromatic, and then there's fewer metallics, and then even fewer gemstone?
I don't know. I don't know that they're actually fewer. You know, like I mean, I don't know that there's anywhere that there's like
more in the lore, is what I would say.
Ooh,
what I will say is Chromatic Dragons are the best dragons.
No bias here at all.
Tiamat is the goddess of Chromatic Dragons. Metallic Dragons are really stupid, because that's Bahamut.
I actually tried this morning when I was scrambling to make a code for this episode. I was gonna make it Bahamut is cool, but it wouldn't fit.
Rightly so. They would have broken the system. It's really dumb. Let's just start with that. Really dumb. So most of the primary adversarial dragons are chromatic. You know, black, red, white, green, blue. And then the lame good dragons are gold.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, please.
No. I was going into a different topic, and my brain was just slow in realizing you were still talking.
Yeah, no, I'm just making sure. Gold, silver, bronze, copper, brass, mercury, iron, and steel, and platinum. Are all the metallic dragons, and those are roughly the good dragons.
Wasn't there also, like, I don't know if it's in this edition, but I vaguely remember like an adamantium dragon or something.
Adamantine dragon.
Adamantine, yeah.
I mean,
and fourth-ish.
Yeah, I feel like it should have like extendable claws.
The the gem dragon god is Sardior.
That
The
was
ruby
actually a
dragon.
question that came up. Actually,
yeah?
it was from Mars. Metallic Dragons are to Bahamut, and Chromatic Dragons are to Tiamat, as Gemstone Dragons are to. So what was the name of that one?
Sardior.
Sardior?
Sardior.
Hmm.
Yeah, he's the ruby dragon.
The
He's
ruby
neutral.
dragon?
Ruby Dragon.
Yeah, and
Hot.
There's
Hot,
a lot
hot,
of-
hot!
like psionic stuff goes
Oh
with
my
gem
god,
dragons.
I need a giant ruby dragon voiced by Chris Tucker.
I like it.
Thank you for coming with me on that one. Yeah. Mhm.
Sorry, I was slow on it. I'm sad at the seconds of that joke that I missed. Just hold it
All right.
here. Right here.
We got a million of them. Yeah, and then the gem dragons are amethyst, emerald, sapphire, topaz, crystal, obsidian, and beljural. Ooh. Beljural. Ooh la la.
Ooh la la.
Yeah.
Ooh la la.
That's a rare but powerful species of gem dragon. It looks like it's kind of purplish. It's only from 2nd edition though, which means it was probably ridiculous. They have a lava-like coloration with gray or black palettes interspersed with red and yellow outlines. That's cool. Older Beljural dragons lost this coloring, instead developing a dark gray and violet scales streaked with incandescent blue and green. Yeah, so you were talking about volcano dragons. That's kind of them.
Yeah. Oh, apparently you're a little quiet. But maybe bring your bring your mic over there.
How about now? Am I still quiet, y'all?
I think that's good.
Yeah, I turned the gain down a little bit because if I turn it up, you will hear me. You will hear me, but it'll be like.
So you were saying, B Dave, that Chromatic Dragons are the evil ones. Metallic Dragons
they're the best ones. I believe.
Excuse me. I misspoke.
No.
Then allow me to say in my words, Chromatic Dragons are the evil ones. Metallic seem to be the good ones. Is there an alignment like thing for the Gemstone Dragons?
Neutral. They're pretty self-absorbed is the way that I've seen it framed.
That's hilarious.
They're like, I'm sparkly. But yeah, they're kind of set up as various shades of neutral.
Okay. I kind of like the idea of like a massive like sapphire dragon just being like, I have no strong opinions either way.
See, I went straight to hedonism bot. I regret nothing.
Let us convert like the Greeks of old.
That is definitely I feel like when I think of them, it's more of a like, adventurers show up and they're like, pick a side, and they're like, who are you and why are you here?
Gross.
I don't recall asking what you want me to do, so.
I like that.
To be fair, I feel like kind of all the dragons sort of feel that way, though. They're like,
that's true.
Yeah, why are you? Stop it.
But, so they're... Okay, correct me if I'm wrong. This is one of those times I'm like, did I make this up or was this a real thing? There's a council of metallic dragons, right?
Yeah, Council of Worms.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm assuming by the neutrality of them, there is no council of gemstone dragons.
I don't think so.
See,
you come
to
up
me,
with
it
such
just
good
became
questions, Trevor.
it just became like it's an episode of RuPaul's Drag Race where they just like read adventurers to filth. You know what I mean? Sure.
Yes.
Yeah. Just when you come in front of the Council of Gem Dragons, just the library is open. You walk in, they're like, "Oh, Hunty,
I love the
those
idea.
greaves do not match that wolfskin cloak."
I love the idea of the Gemstone Dragon Council just being like a panel of judges on a reality TV show. I genuinely love that.
Yeah. Oh, and that's the name of the show. Oh, Hunty.
Oh, yeah. Hunty.
I like this line for kind of pinpointing it because I was looking for like, is there? Because I don't think there is, but so this is about Amethyst Dragons. While they thought copper dragons and silver dragons were foolish and they disliked red dragons and white dragons, they were not fundamentally opposed to any creature. They're just like, you're over there, it's fine.
Yeah.
Don't touch my stuff. Yeah. Although not all of them are highly materialistic.
Yeah. Do Gemstone Dragons have hordes? Because like
They are their Hoard.
that's what I was about to say. They are the horde. For the horde.
I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming. I'm like, don't.
Yeah.
You had to.
Not
they're
happy.
gross and stupid too. Except for blood elves.
Yeah. Okay, so
This one, just flipping through Fizzbands.
Yep.
Topaz Dragons, Hoard information.
oh,
They're the Nosferatu.
And they're really
of,
interested in undead. So they like things.
They really are.
sometimes keep undead creatures in their hoard as curios.
that's an interesting one. They're like, okay, so we're made of treasure, so we're gonna hoard other things.
The real treasure is the liches you made along the way. Yeah.
I like it.
What is this dragon hoard? I hoard the concept of time.
Sapphire dragons hoard weapons and armor and military history records and tactical.
Half of
manuals.
that was really cool.
Yeah.
One of my
Which is
Sorry, go
interesting if you think about it. I mean, and I guess humans do this too. That I'm like, you're collecting all this armor and weaponry that you. Well, I was gonna say they physically can't wield, but maybe they can shapeshift. Could you just imagine them just like basically are glorified cosplayers? Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
It's
They're like a reenactor.
Yeah, exactly. And everything's all like dinged and banged up, and you're like, "Did you kill these people?" And they're like, "No."
Yeah,
no.
because they can take they can shapeshift,
These
take
are
human form, right?
original Dents
Yeah, almost all of them
from
can, yeah.
the Battle of Telflown.
But like,
Exactly,
just
you know?
imagine how gaudy that human would look, polymorph from
yeah.
a gem
yeah.
dragon.
Glittery blue hair.
Oh
There's-
yeah.
I was gonna say
They're not gaudy; they're fashion forward. Thank you.
one of my favorite books is To Say Nothing of the Dog, and there's a character in there who just like as a sort of thematic element is constantly breaking down the Battle of Waterloo and where did Napoleon mess up, and I feel like this is interacting with the Sapphire Dragon.
Yes.
Just like this conversation topic just continually comes up, and it like structurally for the novel is exactly right, but if I imagine that person, I'm like, oh my god, shh.
Oh my god. I now want to do a game that is the all of the players are polymorphed gem dragons and stuck in that form, and they now have to care about something in order to get back to their original form.
Oh, that sounds delightful.
I mean, that's like half of Norse mythology, I think. There, you know what I mean? Yeah. It's like either
Yeah.
care about something or have something care about you, which is even worse. You know?
Also, there's a giant squirrel in a big tree. It's gonna mess you up.
A lot of giant something that's gonna mess you up. To tell you the truth, there was a recurring theme in the old mythos there as well.
So, you know, I usually try to save the questions for last, but there's some that are popping in here that are actually sparking good questions for during the episode. Foolish Genius says, question, are there any notable gem Draco liches? But that begs the question, are there gem Draco liches?
I don't think so. Although theoretically there could be, because normally evil dragons are the ones that become Draco liches, and some of the gem dragons can be neutral evil. So it's possible, but not really.
Huh.
I mean, you know, issuing a
Challenge
disclaimer, you do what you want. You do what
accepted.
you want at your table, of course.
Well, because like,
usually the Draco liches are green or blue. Like
Yeah.
there's not even a lot of red Draco liches.
yeah, there's
but-
the black Draco lich, the one that's got a name.
Yep.
Yeah.
Spend a lot of time with those babies.
See, this makes me ask the question now. Like, you know, some of the gem dragons, like the Moonstone Dragons, they look like, you know, dragons but with like stones on them and stuff. But the Sapphire Dragon is like pure sapphire. Does that thing have bones? Would it even have anything to raise?
It's a
I mean,
wonderful question.
Yeah, probably. Well, I think
So would it be? Yeah, no.
I was gonna say the biggest part about that. Well, okay, so I will give you two different answers. I'll give you the canonical answer, and then I will give you my own personal belief as
I
an
love
answer.
this.
Canonically, Draco liches have to choose to become that. They have to be like, yeah, I'll be undead. I'll give up, you know, being already kind of functionally immortal to gain more power, which usually is because they already feel like they're a relatively low dragon on the totem pole and can go no higher. But they have to do it of their own free will. these other dragons that aren't necessarily evil and don't necessarily thirst for power, but something like the Topaz Dragon, like she was just saying, that likes the undead and cures information, being like, well, do I have an offer for you? You know what I mean? Like,
do you want to try something?
Yeah, right. Maybe.
I don't know that it's canonical, but just kind of looking at these, I feel like gem dragons, all dragons I think are probably prone to boredom because when you live that long, but I feel like gem dragons are maybe a little more. So if you're gonna have a Dracolich gem dragon, it's probably because they were like, well, I haven't tried that yet. Let's see.
I will say,
kind of lich.
But yeah, I would think that the easiest way to do it, if you wanted this at your table, is, and I'm gonna get a little bit in the weeds here. So technically, the lich is not in the body. The lich is in the phylactery. The lich is in the item, and they take over the body of a dead reptile. Technically, any dead reptile, but I guess they really want a dragon body. So you could have a lich that abandoned its form and took over the body of a dead Topaz Dragon or a dead Sapphire Dragon or whatever, and then you'd have your gem Draco Lich. Even though the creature was good, it's just basically just like a housing mount for the Draco Lich, because it's actually, the actual Lich is in the phylactery, not in the body.
I like that.
That'd be the easiest way.
That sounds fun. I actually just pulled up the image of the Topaz Dragon. Is that dude's wings backwards? They look kind of backwards.
Now I gotta look.
I know, I'm like, I went past it.
I remembered seeing somewhere a dragon with backwards wings. Yeah, I definitely think it is. That doesn't seem like a good way to fly.
You know, it's not, they don't do it by aerodynamics. They do it by imagination. Yeah. Yeah. Multiple people are like, I do love it, by the way, when they're like, well, how do they fly like that? You're like, how do any of them fly, period?
That's fair.
They're full of hydrogen, like lots of explosive hydrogen.
That works for the ones that breathe fire. Yeah. That's one of those things, man, that it's like, once you dig so deep, the answer's always magic. Yeah. You're like, because Ed Greenwood. That's why. You know?
Yep, very true. I don't know why this popped into my head, but when Erin was talking about the lich essentially going like, "Hey, you want to be a skeleton now too?" Just imagine like this Topaz Dragon being like that gif of Bryan Cranston. Who, me?
Well, so the Cult of the Dragon, the same people that brought Tiamat back, that's their whole thing. They're like, Draco Liches are going to rule the world. So they go around as Draco Lich missionaries. Imagine how hard of a job that is, that you got to find the dragon and then roll in there. Don't get scorched immediately and be like, hear me out, though.
We have pamphlets.
They're like, you can live forever. It's like, I'm already gonna live forever, but you can live forever and be dead. And also powerful.
Yeah, you know, just it's a little give and take. That's all.
Sunrise, sunset.
I will remind chat that you can drop your questions in there for us to answer towards the end of the episode. I will say that we are going to try and end a little bit early. We've got a full day of streaming going on, and I want to make sure that the special episode of Bardic Inspiration that's coming up after this has enough time to get set up. So be sure to drop those in there so we can have some dragon question fun at the end. But I did think that, you know, even though the episode's called Gemstone and Metallic Dragon, there are a bunch of other smaller dragon types that we probably aren't going to do a whole episode on, and this might be a good time to talk about. Like those, like the what did you call them? The Cataclysmic Dragons? Is that what
Cataclysm Dragons?
That's a cool name. What's up with them?
Man, you're juking off the topic.
You know, like, I'm all over the place.
Let me catch up.
I've had so much coffee this morning.
Wait, I have to hold on.
Oh.
The Volcanic Dragon is the kind of big one from 4th edition. But
wait, I have to give a shout out to Canthraxis, our homie, the Draco Lich in the Moonshade Isles.
Dude, B-Dave is lagging on my end. I'm sorry, viewers, if he is for you. But there it is.
Gorgeous.
There it is.
Yeah, Canthraxis. Yep. The green Draco Lich in the Moonshade Isle, or blue Draco Lich in the Moonshade Isles. And then I just brought my green Draco Lich just because I like it. And this one is like doing a pounce. This one's like, this is like the most predatory dragon looking. I love that, where it's all like, it's too late, and he's all like some meat hanging off of him. That's all. Okay, there you go. I was stalling for you, Aaron. Activate.
I am. Hang on a second.
Well, okay. So what I'll say is, in Fizban's Treasure Dragons, right here, it does have, like, if you haven't checked out the book, it does have a lot more than just like dragon lore and stuff in there, because it does, which is really cool and everything. You know, it's got a lot about Bahamut. Well,
what I will say about this as we enter the sales pitch portion of our show, it's really neat. It is not just a lot of new kinds of dragons, but it's a lot of new options and details about the dragons that you already know. Ways to flesh out their layers, ways to flesh out the way just the presence of a dragon starts to affect the land around it, personality traits for them, quirks, individual things. You can kind of bring them to life and make them something other than, here's the CR30 thing you're supposed to fight this week. Because something in my experience, in all my years playing Dungeons and Dragons, there's surprisingly few dungeons and surprisingly few dragons in Dungeons and Dragons. So now you got whichever one you need. I will just say, just as a total aside, the other one that I had a lot of fun with, the Hoard Mimic. I had a lot of fun with the Moonstone Dragon, and I also had a lot of fun with the Deep Dragon. I liked the Deep Dragon a lot. It's like if Gollum was a dragon. I had that come up in my D&D celebration game, which was a whole lot of fun.
I gotta say, my favorite in here, and it's actually one BD that you and I touched on when we did the Mind Flayer episode, is the Elder Brain Dragon. I'm just gonna hold up to the camera. Look at this nasty boy.
It's breath weapon, guys. Its breath weapon is Mind Flayer tadpole brine with tadpoles in it. It's so gross. I love it.
And my favorite thing is WizKids is making a mini out of it.
Oh, for real? Oh,
yeah.
My God.
I might have to buy that nasty thing. It's so cool. But yeah, so yeah, there's so many little types of dragons in here that just have their own little blips of lore and whatnot. The Elder Brain Dragon, obviously, Mind Flayer's got to a dragon. Actually, one of my favorite, most ridiculous ones. I gotta see if I can find the image of it. Audio listeners, I know that doesn't do anything for you, but you know, well, I will describe it. There's one that's just straight up called an eye dragon. And you know,
found him finally. Sorry, go ahead.
Yes, Aaron. I was about to say the eye dragon. You gotta, you have to buy a new one every 6 months.
Well played. Oh, here it is.
There's an eye drake.
Yeah, so this thing. Oh yeah, the eye drake. This thing, I saw it, I just started laughing because I'm like, look at this ridiculous little thing.
It's pretty.
It's like a tadpole demon thing.
Beholder in my dragon. You got dragon in my beholder.
So that's apparently where they come from, though. It's when a beholder becomes obsessed with dragons, so much so that they start dreaming about them, and in their dreams they create eye drakes.
Being a beholder sounds stressful. Whatever you've got going on, you can't talk about it to anybody because everybody is the worst and you hate them. And so you're going to have stress dreams. So you wake up and there's weird monsters there like, are you my mommy?
Yeah, and you're like, disintegrate.
Not again.
You wake up and the window's open and you're like, what left now? Ooh, that's too much for me.
But it also sounds great if a beholder ever has ADHD and experiences hyperfixation, because then they just get really obsessed with something and the next morning it's there and it looks like them. It's really great. But I also
it's
love,
not them, so
I also love the idea though of so you're like, okay, well, what if we made like a dragon beholder? But how do we make that? And someone goes, all right, hear me out.
What if
we
made
have
it
this in the
super
lore
derpy?
established already.
Yeah.
Weird beholder dream.
Yep.
It's a monster factory.
Monster Factory.
That'd be a great name for a show.
Oh God, I just opened to the Deep Dragon. That thing is terrifying.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
those are
wonderful
scary.
though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
wonderful.
I'll hold up for the pale eyes. Yeah, look at that thing.
It's
Just that going through a cave. No, thank you.
Yeah, and they can collapse their wings and collapse down so they can slide through holes and stuff like salamanders. And then come out. Although, Erin, you said you were looking for a thing and you found that thing.
Oh, yes.
Treavor asked about catastrophic, not cataclysmic, catastrophic dragons, catastrophe dragons, which were a thing in 4th edition.
That's why I have no recollection.
I know. Plug your ears so you stay pure.
So these are dragons. You'll have me showing ankle like a common harlot here.
They're dragons that embody like natural forces. So it's an earthquake dragon, a volcanic dragon, or tornado dragon. I think there's like a blizzard one. Yeah, blizzard one that's like got all this crazy ice energy. Blizzard, earthquake, tornado, typhoon, and volcanic are the ones that I found. They are a little tricky to track down because I think they are particular to that edition. But I did find some people who were adapting them for 5th. So
for some reason I thought that they were in this book, but it was the Great Worm that I was thinking of, because I mean they are pretty cataclysmic when you look at them.
They are.
No, they're there to do business. I will say, if you're looking to figure out ways to bring these things back from previous inferior editions, it is pretty easy to reskin some of those existing stat blocks. I mean, there's a lot of stats in that book that you're like, if this is close, well, I'll take this piece and this piece type thing, and you can pretty easily assemble it. Because I usually recommend doing something like that to help maintain a little more balance. Because when you just kind of start with, oh, I'm going to do this, 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 you have things that get out of hand pretty quickly. But if you're like, well, it has this attack block and this breath weapon did this much damage, but instead of it being the fire breath, I'm going to make it the Mind Flayer Squiddling breath, which always make it the Mind Flayer Squiddling breath.
God.
And, yep. There you go.
Yep.
Solid advice.
That is true. I will say, though, if you ever go back and look at 4th edition stat blocks, those numbers might be a little shocking. But yeah, so, man, the Great Worms, I keep getting distracted by them because they're just freaking cool and terrifying and devastating. There's
a gem Great Worm. They're on topic even.
Yeah, the Gem Great Worm is freaking cool as heck. And I'm assuming that this is it's just a dragon that's lived a super long time. Would that be a wrong thing to say?
About which one?
About just great worms in general. It's just super old dragons.
Yeah, I mean, like orcs and goldfish, dragons keep growing to the size of their container. So they just get bigger and bigger and bigger and stronger and stronger and stronger. Yeah, and theoretically do more things. Theoretically.
Wow, I actually just
found... Great Worm has a sidebar that's about Sardior's Great Worm.
I was just about to read that. Yeah.
That's your council. They are, they preserve the memory of Sardior, who is, I believe Sardior is dead, actually.
Yeah. Oh, the long lost
for a god.
Yeah.
It's like a DC or Marvel character dying.
Yeah. Deadish.
I got better.
But I mean, again, when it's like when your god gets killed, you're just like,
I did just realize though that this council, so they're called the
read it. It's great.
Yeah, it's the 5 gem great worms call themselves the Thanes of Sardior, whatever you say that. But my favorite thing is, so there is an amethyst great worm, a crystal one, a emerald, and a sapphire, and a topaz. And they're each Thane is actively seeking out their echoes across the worlds of the material plane, hoping to merge with these other dragons, with the goal of eventually uniting themselves to reform the Great Ruby Dragon. You could do Steven Universe in D&D with dragons.
I feel like that's what they call it.
You just straight up do Steven Universe.
All right, okay, hang on. I have to parse this carefully because I'm speaking in NDA right now.
Laser dots come up. Bing.
That's true. They were like, we will do it. We will do it. The bullet will travel.
Sam Fisher peeks in through the back door.
But here's the thing, but I'm like, no, it's in the book. You just said it out loud. Pay a lot of attention to that stuff about the emanations and the echoes across the planes.
Ooh.
I'll just say that. I'll just say that.
Read them sidebars.
That being said, just as an aside, Strixhaven also has 5 founder dragons.
Oh, that's true. That's
For
true.
each of the colleges. Yep. That theoretically the dragons are still out there somewhere, but not necessarily. So yeah.
I do love how hard Strixhaven went with that though, because they're like, oh, it's magic school. You could just have fun and do all that. Who created the school? Giant, massive, terrifying dragons.
Here, learn, cure your weakness and ignorance. Yeah.
I am here to rule all. Also, that ink's magical and you can throw it at people. It does damage. It's really neat.
I mean, especially the one that founded Prismari, whose name eludes me right now, which is the performance class.
Yes.
It's like this great and terrible jazz hands dragon. Yeah. It's like,
Love it.
I don't want to rule. I want to sing.
Yes, mighty dragon, allow us to give our usual ritual hello. Jazz hands, spit fingers.
Yeah.
Dragon rolls
Love
up to a fight. Sorry, I'm done.
Yeah. That's when Tiamat's all 5 heads.
Before we check in with chat, like I said, we're doing a little bit early, so make sure we get out of here on time. Remember, you can still drop your questions in there, and Mars will grab them. Any last things you want to touch on just dragons in general?
Yes. If you all saw Idle Champions Presents Part 3, I had the honor and privilege of personifying the single greatest dragon of all time, Tiamat. She's over there. She's heavy.
Right there.
I'll pick.
Right there.
Oh no, there she is. No, wait. Do you have her? Is she still there with you, Trevor?
Oh yeah, I still got one. She's over here. No, yeah,
she's over there.
mine's
All right.
gone. I had to put the hand of Vecna. Tiamat was attacking me too much.
I mean, as she does. I think the thing that you got to remember about your dragon characters is, again, in the previous history of the game, a lot of time it was just you just went in the mountain and fought the dragon because reasons.
Yep.
But you try and elevate them to more than that. I mean, they're very, very intelligent, and they also don't necessarily want to die, but they also aren't necessarily that overly concerned with you or what your needs. So I like to almost think of them as like cats. I think of them as cats first. Really intelligent, really powerful, really old cats. And then that'll kind of help you sort of like hit the right vibe for how they're interacting with these mortals. Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah.
I will say, I actually found the first 2 episodes of the Vox Machina show. There's a dragon, and I actually think that they show dragon combat pretty well in that, for it being intelligent, and using the surroundings and stuff. So yeah, no, it's one of those where it's like, okay, remember a dragon is intelligent, but not DM meta knowledge intelligent.
Yeah.
That's the thing that I always try to stress especially when it comes to dragons.
Yep. Well, it depends on how intelligent. Because there is a school of thought that's how you get across intelligence, is the Sherlock Holmes-esque. Of course, I knew you'd do blank. I mean, don't get me wrong; it gets very old if you do it a lot.
Yes.
But I mean, every once in a while, where the whole point is something is very intelligent, having it been like, I have accounted for everything. There's only so many ways in and out of this cave, and I've only got so many weak points, So it's like you show up with Smog, but Smog just has a tiny little chess piece over that one scale. Just right there. It's like round 2, hobbits.
I gotta read this from the chat that Abigail the Kobold put in there. Now I'm waiting for B-Dave to put in 2 black dragons named Mal and Anakin into a game.
Well, now I have to, Abigail.
Yeah.
You do.
Now I have to. Now, but the problem is, if I put 2 black dragons named Mal and Anakin, like, they're going to win now. Like, I won't let them lose.
That's true.
So, yeah.
Yeah, no one would beat a dragon named
What if-
Penelope in my game.
What if the players scritch their bellies? Will they switch sides?
Oh yeah, well, I mean, chin scritches. Tummy scritches will get you. They'll be friends for a time, and then breath weapon. You know what I mean? Then you're like,
that's
no,
fair.
they're enjoying this, and they're like, I'm not anymore. Bah! No, you get them right under there though. Yeah, just a little bit of a headbutt. Yeah, friends forever.
I love it. All right, let's check in with chat and see what's been going on. First question is from Banana Mobster. Question: what category would the Deep Dragon fall into?
Other.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. I think there is a other
There's
category.
Another category.
Yeah, let me.
Which,
Yeah,
the one I love that's
now.
in the other category is Amber Dragons, which you'd think would be Gemstone Dragons. But
Yeah,
they're other. I guess they're sort of Gemstone Dragons, but the other Gemstone Dragons are like, but not really.
yeah, they're meats from trees. It's weird.
they're just the quote unquote dragon type because what you'll see when you look at the stat block, it'll say, and then in parentheses it'll say the kind. It'll be like dragon parentheses gem, dragon parentheses blue or whatever. Yeah, they're just dragon type.
The real bunny beast put in chat, belly scritches get stitches.
Literally.
That's so good.
Yeah.
Let's see. So yeah, other is the answer for that one. Foolish Genius 89 question: can a metallic or gem Draco Lich / Shadow still shape change in the lore? Monster Manual doesn't take that power away. A silver Draco Lich sounds terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's interesting.
I mean, I think it's another one of those things that it's just like because reasons.
Yeah.
You know? Like I mean,
I genuinely feel like, especially D&D, you find enough things like Star Trek jargon style to explain it. It's there. Magic did it.
Yeah. But like I did it because of plot and narrative. You know.
Yeah.
I think theoretically, I keep unplugging my thing.
How dare you?
Theoretically, the answer's supposed to be no, because, and it doesn't make sense once you follow the thread, for the record, in that the shape-shifting is supposed to be a function of its biology, and because its body is dead, it can no longer do it. But that'd make sense because it's shape-shifting as a function of magic, not as a function of biology, and the magic should have carried over. So the answer is whatever you want it to be.
Yeah.
I like that one.
Yeah, I don't think that's got any. There's no lore anchors for it, so free for all.
Yeah.
I would say though, if it shapeshifts, it should still look dead because that seems one thing that is fairly consistent with liches is they don't really have much control over this anymore. So yeah. If it's like I'm a lich and they're like rah fight and it's like psych I'm a Draco lich, you know, that might be a cool reveal.
There's only one lich I can think of, and I won't name names because it is a bit of a spoiler for one of the campaigns. But yeah, there's only one lich I can think of that could change their appearance to not look like a lich. But that was mainly just for fun times of being like surprise.
Although to your point though, if it's happened canonically once,
it can happen again.
Open season.
Yep. Catch 23 question: how do we reconcile crystal dragons being neutral when their primary trait is hospitality? Do they harbor fugitives, run a hostel that serves liches under the table?
I mean, they're Switzerland, man.
Yeah.
Chocolate machine guns in the mountains. Yeah.
Yeah, I would actually say that it would make sense if there was like a thieves' den or hideout that was run by a crystal dragon, which sounds cool.
They're like they're very
palace.
Polite guests, so
Right.
Somebody put be our guest.
Be our guest. Legally distinct. Okay,
yep,
fine,
legally
fine.
distinct.
Yeah, legally
be
distinct.
our friend that stops by.
Yeah, exactly. It's like,
Oh yeah.
I was just trying to think of something instead of guest, honestly. Whereas you're just like be our patron, be our patron.
Send it to Jason Charles Miller. We got a new song.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah. He did that. He could do it. He could do it. He could
If
do it in
anyone
about
could.
5 minutes.
Let's see. This is from Deserton. Would a dragon consider itself as good, evil, or consider their behavior and actions as rightful and normal for a greater creature?
Yeah, but here's what you got to realize. Again, every villain is the hero of their story.
Correct.
Everyone evil thinks they're good.
Yep.
So,
yeah.
yes. You know?
Let's see. Cassius 335 question: how major does the catastrophe have to be to have its own dragon? Is there is there an internet outage dragon?
It's like the fairy dragon of catastrophe dragons.
Mhm.
It just sits on your computer and it goes.
Yeah, I believe they're called gremlins.
I like that though.
I do
Having,
too.
like little pseudo dragon, fairy dragon sized.
Oh
catastrophe
yeah.
inconvenience dragons.
It's
if you
true.
will.
The Mischief Dragon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mischief Dragon.
A
love it.
series of unfortunate dragons.
Oh.
But the catastrophe is not creating the dragon. The dragon's creating the catastrophe. It's vice versa. So like
Yeah.
like a younger Cataclysm Dragon would make like a smaller fire. You know? Yeah.
Yeah.
So. Mhm.
Uh,
Just the question there to the previous point about them being evil. Do they think they're doing a good thing? Because like a point that I've made a lot of times when you try and keep keep clear how different something else thinks, how alien it is. Where if you're like, I have a problem, this guy's bullying me, help me, fire spirit, and the fire spirit's like, dope, I'll burn his house down. You know, because to the fire spirit, that's valid. You know,
That's how
and
we
you're like,
solve problems.
yeah, and you're like, maybe don't. And it's like, I'm literally a fire spirit though. So
like, what did you expect?
yeah, so the Cataclysm Dragon is probably like, woo, Blizzard. And you're like, yeah, but people don't like blizzards. And you're like, how could they not? Blizzards are
Right.
incredible.
Doesn't sound
Yeah.
like
Let
my
me
problem.
explain it to them. I think they're confused.
Exactly. Right. Yeah. Maybe they just haven't had enough of it yet. Yeah. Right. Mm-hmm.
Or it's like, stop trying to harsh my vibe. This is what I do. This is
This is-
me.
A fire
This is
spirit
what I
voiced by
am.
Jeff Bridges. You mess with my Zen
Exactly.
thing, man.
Yeah. You're like, this is not a phase. Blizzard. Yeah.
Babylon Ranger 2261. So are there really no steel dragons in 5e besides the one NPC in Mad Mage? One, I didn't even know that about that NPC.
Same thing. If there's the one, there are. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, steel dragons were a thing previously. Again, there's the one.
Yep.
Which means there are the many.
Which means that
I mean, again, I realize we're talking. This show is all about canonicity and things like that.
Yeah.
So we have to be like, well, here it hath been written that thus, but at your table, do whatever.
Yes.
You know, if you have a species of half orc, half dragon centaurs that have like descended or ascended up from the abyss to wreak havoc, it's like,
y'all, I had a hotel above the multiverse that a purple worm was sleeping in the lobby room of, and that was streamed. You can do whatever you want.
at the end of the multiverse.
Yeah. But yeah, so the last question is from Desterton one more time. How does a dragon become a Draco Lich? And for that answer, I'm actually going to direct you to our episode about said things. We did an episode about, I think it was called the Dragon Cult of the Dragon, because they specifically have dealings with Draco Liches and, you know, the knock knock, have you heard about our Lord and Savior Draco Lich? So yeah, definitely check out that episode for more in depth about that.
Would you
Trevor, I
like
have a
to
question.
be our Lord and Savior Draco?
Yes, what's up, Aaron?
What was the dragon in that game? There was a dragon at that.
Oh, that one is non-canonical.
Oh, see, there you go.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a Void Dragon, which is from Cobalt Press's first Tome of Beasts.
Okay.
And it was just one that I've always wanted to use, and we had space stuff already, so let's go.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
looking on this list going, one of these words is going to remind me of what it is. But it wasn't working. Because it's not in Fizzbands.
I will say, while we're plugging stuff, if you want to see a Hoard Mimic or a Deep Dragon, check out my game I did for Celebration with Deborah Ann Wall, Patrick Rothfuss, Todd Stashwick, Matthew Lillard, and Alicia Marie. That was one of the most fun games I've ever had.
Nice.
That was hilarious. Yeah.
Hoard Dragon.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think that is where we are gonna wrap this one up. Make sure we got time for the other shows. Friends, where can people find you and what awesome things you're working on?
You can find me on Twitter at Erin M. Evans. You can join me with these guys most weeks for writing about dragons and shit, a podcast about writing, but not this week.
Yeah, next week.
I had to sleep, you guys.
Well, we
But,
all
blame it on
need
me.
to sleep. We all need to sleep.
Except B
I
Dave.
was about to say, I'm like a warforged. I just shut down for 4 hours and remain aware of my environment. I just like stop talking for a minute, and then I'm like, oh, back up. Yeah.
Man, I am envious. What else do I do? You can join me on twitch.tv/Dungeon Scrawlers on Mondays at 1:30 for concentration check, a co-writing space. And you can come join me and we do some work sprints, get some stuff done, talk about creative projects. And then on Wednesdays at 6:30 p.m. Pacific for Dungeon Scrawlers, an actual play with a bunch of fantasy writers.
Yeah.
I am TV's B. Dave Walters, non-ironically, host and dungeon master for Invitation to Party on G4, which is live Fridays on G4's Twitch and YouTube at 3 p.m. Pacific, and then on the televisions Monday at 3 p.m. Pacific. I'm also DM of the Black Dice Society, which is a horror D&D stream, and also all over the place anywhere else people will let me say words in front of a camera or microphone.
A horror stream that won most wholesome moment from the TTRPG GIF Awards.
Because we contain multitudes, okay?
Yes.
Yes. I was happy about that, by the way, that I'm like, we got most wholesome?
It's so good.
That was delightful.
You can find me on Twitter at the Treavor. There's an A hiding in there. You can also find me anywhere the Idle Champions community is, because that's where I am. And also, you can check out Pack Antics, which is the webcomic that I'm writing for Idle Champions right now, with Luke McKay doing the art. And that is new issues of that go up every Tuesday on our socials, and also on our Discord now. I got channels made for our regular comic and Pack Antics, so you can check those out there.
Hey.
Let's see. Thank you to our mod Mars for doing an awesome job and helping out today, grabbing those questions. Thank you very much. Thank you to Codename Entertainment for letting us have some fun talking about some D&D. If you missed any part of this show, I'm hoping to get it up later today as a podcast, but today is an extremely busy day. It might slip through the cracks and go up tomorrow. But it will be available there. But yeah, today we've got so much going on. We've got a special stream of Bardic Inspiration coming up immediately after this, so be sure to hang around for that. After that, another episode of Mars's Guiding Hand, and then after that, a special charity one-shot run by Lauren Urban called Moon Dance, which is celebrating the release of Disco the Moonstone Dragon. Brian Gray, who we partnered with to make Disco, it will be part of it, and a lot of other really awesome and fun people, so please be sure to check that out. I'm going to be producing and modding it, so I won't be there visually, but I will be there. I will be present. But yeah, that is going to do it for this week's episode. And so until next week, Champions out.